and welcome to this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. It's a fantastic Friday, bursting with possibilities, and we've packed today's program with stories and information specially curated just for you. So don't go anywhere. We're getting started with the latest from the newsroom, and there's much more in store when we return.
Good day, I'm Jabertha Atkinson, and this is your JIS news for Friday, April 17, 2026. 34 contributors to the National Housing Trust (NHT) are now the proud owners of serviced lots within the Cherry Gardens housing development in Kitson Town, St. Catherine. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness led a recent ceremony to hand over the letters of possession to the beneficiaries.
For the individuals receiving these lots, this is a significant personal milestone. Each lot represents a significant, tangible, real asset in the hands of real people with real potential to transform lives. For the country, it is the latest milestone in the government's campaign to promote ordered development.
These are part of a broader development of 193 lots being delivered through a partnership between the National Housing Trust and private developers under the NHT's Interim Finance Program. 47 lots have already been delivered in earlier phases. The lots are supported by paved roads, potable water systems, drainage networks, electricity, and dedicated green and recreational spaces.
These features are essential to ensuring that the development functions as a viable and integrated community rather than a collection of isolated lots. The objective of my administration is not simply to increase the number of units or lots available, but to ensure that developments are properly serviced, well located, and capable of supporting long-term economic and social activity.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is in New York for a 3-day program of high-level engagements that will place Jamaica's post-Hurricane Melissa national recovery agenda squarely before the Caribbean's most influential diaspora community in the United States. Dr. Holness was met on arrival Thursday by Jamaica's ambassador to the U.S., retired Major General Anthony Anderson, and Jamaica's ambassador to the United Nations, Brian Wallace. The Prime Minister took part in the Recover Better conference, a one-day action-oriented forum convened to mobilize diaspora expertise, investment, and advocacy in direct support of Jamaica's post-Hurricane Melissa national reconstruction and resilience efforts. Today, Prime Minister Holness is scheduled to be the guest of honor at the American Foundation for the University of the West Indies AFUWI 29th Annual The Legacy Continues Awards Gala in Manhattan. During the event, Dr. Holness will be conferred with the prestigious Legacy Award. He's also set to address students and faculty at New York University's STEM School of Business. The address is expected to frame Jamaica's post-hurricane recovery within the broader narrative of Caribbean nations building knowledge-based economies resilient to both climatic and economic shocks. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, has issued a call for members of the Jamaican diaspora to partner with their homeland in shaping a stronger, more sustainable and resilient nation. The minister was speaking at Wednesday's global launch of the 11th Biennial Jamaica Diaspora Conference.
The government recognizes and values the remarkable contributions from members of the diaspora across the globe, and moreover, we believe in the need to deepen and expand our engagement. Recognizing that the diaspora is not homogeneous, has different needs, different desires, and interests in how its members connect with Jamaica as their home country.
The 2026 conference will be held at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James from June 14 to 18 under the theme Diaspora Partnerships, Rebuilding a More Resilient Jamaica. Senator Johnson-Smith says it will provide an excellent platform for members of the diaspora to identify practical avenues through which they can play an even greater role in Jamaica's transformation.
The conference will serve to unlock mutually beneficial opportunities in areas such as trade and investment, advancing technology and innovation, creative and cultural industries, healthcare, education, housing, sustainable development, and entrepreneurship. Safety and security we are never taking for granted. And there is also so much to be done, deepening collaboration in areas such as climate resilience, disaster preparedness, and community development, leveraging much of the focus and currency engendered by Melissa.
The government has disbursed $9.5 of the $10 billion earmarked for grants to beneficiaries of the Restoration of Owner or Occupant Family Shelters ROOFS program. ROOFS is part of the overall shelter recovery program and give grants ranging from $75,000 to $500,000 to assist households assessed as having sustained minor, major, or severe damage from Hurricane Melissa.
We have completed the payments to all eligible verified beneficiaries. Does that mean that the persons listening who have not gotten have been forgotten? No. What it means is that for one reason or the other, you are still in the process of being evaluated up to verification.
The Minister of Labour and Social Security gave an update on the program during this week's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. He explained that not every household assessed for hurricane damage qualified for financial support under ROOFS or the Shelter Recovery Program.
We have 1,785 persons who we did assess, but they were assessed as no damage. They would have received some support, perhaps packages or other support, but they will not receive support for infrastructural development because it is not needed. Similarly, we have 9,958 persons with no significant damage, and many of them are being told by persons that they should agitate for grants despite knowing that they are not in the categories that should receive that benefit.
Minister Charles Jr. says more than 113,000 household assessments have been completed since the hurricane. Data shows that 41,079 households fall within the minor damage category, 42,586 sustained major damage, and 17,826 were classified as suffering severe damage. People seeking updates on their application status are encouraged to contact the Ministry of Labour and Social Security via email at mlsshurricanemelissa@mlss.gov.jm or WhatsApp 876-582-8972 or 876-849-8614. Two new National Identification and Registration Authority NIRA offices will open in Portmore and Spanish Town next week as the government expands access to the National Identification System. NIDS is expected to improve efficiency in accessing public services while strengthening identity verification, enhancing security, and reducing administrative costs. Minister with responsibility for efficiency, innovation, and digital transformation, Audrey Marks, gave the program update after receiving her national ID at a NIRA office in Kingston yesterday.
We are looking at having all 10 former RGD offices, now NIRA offices. They will all be offering the service for you to go and get your national ID. And we are building out 23 post offices also. And we are going to be doing mobile sign up for national IDs.
Minister Marks says the national ID will significantly simplify how Jamaicans access services.
What's great about the national ID is that you don't have to walk with your driver's license, your birth certificate, your passport. For most government services, your one national ID card will replace all the other cards that you have to be looking for to travel with.
Members of the public are encouraged to register online ahead of their visit to reduce waiting time at collection points. The government is stepping up efforts to engage young people in national development with the launch of the fourth staging of the National Budget Secondary School Tour. It was launched on Tuesday at Ferncourt High School in St. Anne with participation from students of Marcus Garvey Technical High School. The initiative, which is led by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, is aimed at helping students understand the national budget and its direct impact on their lives. During the launch, State Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Xavier Main, urges students to stay informed, ask questions, and to see the budget as a tool for shaping Jamaica's future and supporting key sectors such as education, particularly in the aftermath of natural disasters. The tour features interactive workshops and presentations covering topics such as the 2026-27 national budget, government revenue, and how public funds are allocated. It is scheduled to run until May 1, making stops at several schools across the island. Since its launch in 2023, the program has reached more than 5,700 students across 38 schools. And finally, ahead of this year's Atlantic hurricane season, which starts on June 1, the Jamaica Amateur Radio Association, JARA, is highlighting the importance of ham radios as a critical backup when traditional communication systems fail. The call is also in observation of World Amateur Radio Day, which is celebrated on April 18 each year to commemorate the founding of the International Amateur Radio Union in 1925. Jamaica's amateur radio community has been active since 1939, and the day serves as both a celebration of a rich Jamaican heritage of ham radio and oftentimes as a practical drill for emergency response. Chairman of the Western chapter of JARA, Errol McHale, tells JIS News that ham radios remain highly relevant, especially during natural disasters where communication systems may be disrupted, as they do not rely on external infrastructure and have worldwide coverage.
There might be a situation happening, say I am in Montego Bay and a situation happening in Falmouth. I might not have line of sight to the Falmouth station. Now, I am able to communicate with somebody in Miami. That person is able to communicate back with the person in Falmouth. So right away we have uninterrupted link. You can always find ways of passing the message if you cannot go directly through other stations and keep the communication open.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Jabertha Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency NLA can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Thank you for staying with us. Jamaica has weathered its share of hurricanes, and just last year, a major system left the agricultural sector in full recovery mode. Even so, with April being observed as Farmers' Month, the focus remains on rebuilding stronger and smarter. In our next feature, we turn the spotlight on banana farmers and those looking to get into the field, sharing practical tips on how to protect your investment and stay storm ready. Please take a look.
For banana farmers, resilience begins long before a storm arrives and continues well after it passes. Through recent field engagements, farmers are being equipped with practical, experience-driven strategies to better protect their crops and recover faster when disaster strikes. One of the strongest messages coming out of these sessions is the importance of planning ahead.
We are saying to the farmers as well, if they are planting for the first time, they should, do what we call timely establishment. And so they want to plant, in May, June, so that at the heights of the hurricane season, which is normally in August, September, thereabout, the plants would have been at a height that is less vulnerable to the hurricane.
At this stage, plants are better able to withstand strong winds, reducing the level of damage across the field.
We're also saying to them that they need to establish good root health, where they, take care of their good borer management and the nematode management.
This can make the difference between total crop loss and partial damage.
The worst case scenario is if the root is not healthy, you have what you call uprooting. When uprooting takes place, the farmer has to what you call re-establish the plantation, and that is very costly. If there's good root health, what you have is breakage of the pseudostem, and so the root system is not jeopardized, and so the plant, that next what we call crop sucker, will just continue growing, as opposed to the scenario where you'd have to replant. It's like you're starting the plantation, and so that would be literally 9 months to 9 months or more. But then if you're talking about just continuing on what you have already, then that you could have cases where 6 months ready back for harvest.
Farmers are also being encouraged to adopt good field management practices, including proper drainage, adequate nutrition, and techniques like cropping to minimize storm impact.
Also, as far as the recovery effort is concerned, we are saying to farmers that the first thing after the storm, after they have regrouped from the mental trauma, they still have to rise up and to get back in the field by the next day, because most hurricanes are followed by bright sunlight, and that sun is not good for the bunches that are exposed on the ground. And so we're saying that farmers need to cover them, especially with dry trash, to secure them. And then the next thing that the farmers need to do is to commence what we call the chop back, or the process. And we emphasize that, what happens is that if you allow a maiden plant that has not yet shot, if it's not cut properly, it's going to continue to grow, but that plant is not going to have any leaves. And so you may have even case where the bunch is produced, but then there's no leaves. And so we're saying that that plant has to be, they have to inflict some machete wounds into that trunk to ensure that it does not regrow, or to cut it in a situation where there's what we refer to as a gooseneck, or in the layman's term is a horse head, which means that the plant will not able to regrow in that case. And most importantly, or another key aspect, we are saying that farmers need to maintain good pruning, because the pruning is there's going to be a proliferation of suckers after the storm. So they have to go through and to select or remove suckers that are unwanted, to ensure that there is limited competition, and so the plantation would return to harvesting at the earliest possible time.
Ultimately, recovery is not just about rebuilding or regrowing, it's about doing so smarter.
You need to get some rest.
Or take your medication.
Diabetes and hypertension remain leading causes of, or the leading non-communicable diseases affecting our patients, our population here in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. We have effective medications to manage them. We have access to these medications, whether it be through the National Health Fund, or whether it be through private pharmacies. There's access to medications. However, we're still not achieving good control among patients who are on these medications. And so one of the key reasons for this is medication adherence, whether patients actually take their medications as prescribed.
Skipping doses put your health at risk. Take your medication. Follow your doctor's orders. Stay in control.
wondered how Jamaica keeps harmful pests and diseases from slipping in with imported goods? Behind the scenes, the Ministry of Agriculture's Plant Quarantine Produce Inspection Branch is on the front line. Up next, we look at how they safeguard our borders and protect local agriculture.
Every day, shipments of plants and agricultural produce arrive on Jamaica's shores, but not all are cleared to enter. Behind the scenes, a strict plant quarantine system is at work, protecting the island's agriculture from the threat of invasive pests and diseases that could devastate local crops and food security. To better understand how the process operates, we visited the Plant Quarantine Produce Inspection Branch in Kingston to examine the inner workings of the import division and the safeguards in place to keep Jamaica protected.
One of the first ways that we do it is to ensure that whatever is coming into Jamaica is approved, because there are countries that have pests and diseases that we do not have. And when we allow exports or imports to come from other countries, it has to be approved before it comes. The process is simple. Ask for an import permit, apply for one, tell us what is it you want to import, the quantity, the purpose of it, and where you want to import it from.
After which, the Plant Quarantine Produce Inspection Branch will then assess the request.
The permit itself, it will take roughly 24 hours for approval, but it needs to be sent to the supplier overseas for what is called a phytosanitary certificate, which will attest to the requirements that we have stated on the permit to ensure that the requirements are met. So 5 days is good enough, minimum. There's a fee for the permit and there's a fee for the things to be inspected upon arrival in Jamaica, and the fee ranges for the permit from $1,500 to $4,500, and for the inspection it ranges from $5,000 to $15,000 based on the weight of the commodity you want to import.
Once approved, shipments coming into Jamaica must arrive with the import permit and the phytosanitary certificate from the exporting country.
So when we go to inspect the plants and we get those 2 documents, half of our job is over. The next step is to do a physical inspection to ensure that there's compliance with the permit and the certificate and what the product is. So it would naturally have to be the same product that is on the permit, and the conditions on the permit will ensure that those are fulfilled. And the certificate would advise us if those requirements are fulfilled. After that, if we are satisfied that all is well, we inspect and then we release. If it has pests, it comes under quarantine immediately, and then we invoke the process of destruction.
At this stage, strict biosecurity protocols take over. Every step is carefully controlled to prevent any possibility of contamination spreading beyond the inspection point.
We have an incinerator for that, and so we will transport it from the port under maximum protection to ensure that there is no chance of anything getting out, take it to the incinerator, and there it is destroyed.
These protocols are critical to protecting major industries such as banana, sugarcane, and citrus. A single invasive pest could cause millions in losses and threaten Jamaica's food security. To obtain permission to import plants and plant products into Jamaica legally, individuals must first register as an importer on the website www.jswift.gov.jm. Once registered, applicants return to the same platform to apply for the specific import permit, using details such as their TRN, supplier information, and shipment specifics.
They need to apply at least a week before traveling. I'm imploring you to contact the Plant Quarantine Produce Inspection Branch when is it you want to import plants and plant products to ensure that we protect Jamaica's biodiversity. We want to keep out plants, we want to keep out pests from affecting our agriculture.
Because at the end of the day, plant quarantine isn't just regulation, it's protection. Protection for Jamaica's crops, its farmers, and the future of its agricultural industry. Jamaica Post is committed to being your preferred logistics partner. Enjoy the convenience of 3 to 5 days for international shipments at competitive rates and next business day delivery for local packages. Take advantage of our fast, reliable and ever-evolving services: zip mail, click and ship, fast track, EMS, parcel service, registered mail, corporate mail service and private letterbox. Access customer service support and track packages online. Visit our post offices island-wide and premium service centers at select locations. For more information, go to jamaicapost.gov.jm. Conditions apply.
Autism is a lifelong condition that affects how a person understands the world, communicates, and connects with others. It's called a spectrum because no two autistic people are the same. Some may need a lot of support, while others live very independently. So, as April is Autism Month, here are a few important things to remember. It's a difference, not a disease. You can't catch autism. Everyone is unique. It's not mild to severe, but a mix of strengths and challenges. Communication can be different. Many autistic people prefer clear, direct language and may not pick up on sarcasm or small talk. Sensory experiences can be intense. Lights, sound, textures, or smells may feel overwhelming or barely noticeable. So, what should we do? Be patient, be respectful, and be supportive, because everyone experiences the world in their own way, and that's okay.
Think artificial intelligence is just sci-fi? Look closer. It's actually the quiet partner helping you tackle your to-do list. From the maps that dodge traffic for your morning commute to the personalized playlist that knows your mood, AI is making daily tasks faster and more intuitive. It's not here to replace us, but to assist us. No matter your age, it's your digital assistant, helping you focus on what really matters. Artificial intelligence is changing how we live and work, making everyday tasks easier. But the heart behind the technology is still human.
This is where we wrap up today's program. I hope you've been informed, inspired, and uplifted. Join us again tomorrow for another engaging edition of Jamaica Magazine right here on this station. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the repeat and more stories at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for watching, and as always, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.